it's about time we shed some light on those imitation murders.
Greetings, gentle viewers!
And howdy howdy!
We have returned!
Did you miss us? I missed us.
Up to now, we've had everything in this trial in the bag. And, of course, in order to refresh our memories upon beginning, we looked through all the truth bullets. And that pretty much...
Re-established what we pretty much remembered.
And it kind of strongly convinced us that the killer is probably Mikon.
And I'm pretty sure the accomplice is in fact Nagito.
Well, I don't have anything to say about that. But the only thing that the evidence currently established is that Mikon really does have no alibi. And just like we said some time ago when I laid out why it could be Akane, then later laid out why those same reasons meant it could be Mikon. Well, upon putting more things together, Mikon just looks more and more and more suspicious. But, again, the same thing, it could be either one of them, but Mikon...
It might be Mikon. We don't know.
She's sort of objecting to a lot of things.
Yeah.
And a lot of the pieces of evidence seem to make it so
like
that
the
Mikon's...
description of the truth bullets is just kind of like, oh yeah?
Yeah, like Mikon and Fuyuhiko have two separate accounts, and the main thrust of both of those accounts and the pieces of evidence is where Mikon was.
Yeah.
And, you know, the conditions like the air conditioner are meant to obfuscate Mikon, and then pull up the rope. According to Mikon, there's no doubt. But if Ibuki, according to this, the wording in this truth bullet, the cause of Ibuki's death was her hanging herself with this rope, according to Mikon. If there is doubt that she hanged herself with the rope and that was her cause of death, then Mikon was either wrong or lying.
Yeah.
And you put that into perspective with everything else, and you're like, And of course, her establishing an alibi involving Hajime in that jokey style that Danganronpa has used before. Just saying, everything seems to look like that. So there!
We hope it's not her.
I'm the Opinionator?
I'm We Squared, and we're the Bittersweet Gamers. Man, we're just completely out of order today.
Man, I really do hope it's not her, though.
You mentioned imitation murder more than once, but what is that?
Something less relevant to this case than people are thinking, I'm sure.
Hey, buddy, I already asked that question earlier.
Are you kidding me? You haven't seen my masterpiece? The Wizard of Monami 2.5D?
Make Monomi suffer! Make her watch it!
Hey, don't put my likeness in your movies without my permission.
You're pretty noisy for someone who eats mothballs.
What does that have to do with anything?
That's also not what he said.
Oi, mosboru, and you can do
Okay.
it either way.
Okay, I guess.
I don't eat mothballs. I just enjoy looking at them.
See, he said mothballs and she said mothballs.
Well, maybe she's got a list. Don't judge.
I knew it! There are so many similarities. It must have been intentional.
Ibuki's death by hanging matches the Scarecrow's death from the movie. Not just that, but Hiyoko getting taped up after her death matches the lion's death.
That is true, yes. Also, do you know who the first person to bring up the movie and the imitation in the venue was?
Mikon?
Mikon.
Oh. I think that's a stretch, though.
I do too. That's the basis
Okay,
of why
Hiyoko
this is garbage.
Hiyoko was strung up like the lion, but she wasn't shot full of arrows.
That may be, but consider this. Fuyuhiko is absolutely the person who can say this, because what happened in the last case? It was an imitation murder. He did take the bat because of the game.
That's true.
So he's essentially saying, without bringing it up, I was gonna do it like that for that reason. This is the same thing. So it's like you get two cases in a row. In one case, it's an imitation murder because it's an imitation murder. And the next one, it's made to look like an imitation murder, but it isn't.
Just to keep us all in that sort of same mindset and be like, yeah, it's the same thing, guys, right?
Yeah, exactly that.
It's as if both crimes were replicas of scenes from the movie. Although the mutilated Tin Man was omitted.
Oh god, Necromancer is the closest thing we have to a robot. Is he okay?
Uh-oh!
That was a super robot joke.
But why did the killer go to all this trouble in the first place?
Based on what we know, the reason the killer chose these imitations isn't that difficult to figure out.
The reason the killer imitated the two victims in that movie, I should be able to explain that now.
To mix up the order.
Yeah.
I see.
That's the only reason you would do it.
The reason the killer imitated two of the murders from the movie was so he'd mix up the killing order.
Then Hiyoko was actually killed before Ibuki?
Isn't it really fascinating how quickly into the trial we come to this and establish this? That the order is wrong? Even we were talking about how in these cases the order is always wrong. Always.
Yeah.
In all these murder mystery games.
That's why it's a mystery. You can't assume anything you're being told is correct.
Yes!
Until you have established it in the game, or whatever media you're consuming.
A valid line of reasoning.
Yeah, it's valid. The condition of Ibuki's body suggests that as well.
Blood on the souls.
What do you mean? If you're going to cry and beg like that, then I guess I'll hear about the condition of Ibuki's body.
Not that I'm actually interested or anything.
Oh,
I'm
Gundam.
not even crying.
Well, Gundam doesn't remark upon reality. He lives in reality, he recognizes reality, he reacts to reality, but he does not speak in reality.
I'll let you sob as much as you want later. Just hurry up and tell me before I change my mind.
But I'm really not interested.
No, he
Sure.
really what he is saying, if you interpret Gundamese, is we need to talk about the condition of Ibuki's body. Tell me about it.
Oh, I see. You want me to explain it to you, right? Because you don't understand what I'm saying, right?
An even bigger jerk? Impossible!
How could somebody possibly call me out on my behavior and method of speech? Oh, it's so embarrassing. I'll have to go to my real self and being like this again. Oh, explain it to me, Miss Chiaki. I'm so ashamed. I'm so uncool. Is what he's
Look,
saying.
Ibuki died because she hanged herself, right?
No, but we'll get into that.
That means when she was still alive, her feet were touching the floor.
Ah, that's what caused the smear of blood. Ibuki's feet on Hiyoko's blood.
What did you think it was? I mean, yeah.
Well, I wasn't sure if it... I thought it may have been the killer trying to wipe it away or something like that, but it seems like that would imply that Ibuki just stepped in the blood while she was still alive before she got hung.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking it was.
Ah, see, I thought it was something else.
Or like the spray, perhaps?
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
But it seems Ibuki was still standing when Hiyoko was killed.
So it is the spray then.
That would mean Hiyoko was killed before Ibuki.
How light. Your words are so light as the sylph's feather.
Huh.
Your opponent is out of your league. It is too absurd to try to perplex me so inadequately.
I mean, you can't ever really bite on what Gundam is saying.
How? How could you bite on what he's
Especially
saying?
once you more or less understand Gundamese, it's just the most normal thing in the world. It'd be weirder if Gundam didn't talk like this.
I suppose you're correct.
Man, he's being annoying again.
First and foremost, you claim Ibuki's feet were touching the floor when Hiyoko was killed. How can a low-class creature with no psychic abilities like you know something like that?
That is what we need to be talking about. Like, we don't know
Why
what...
Chiaki doesn't have psychic abilities?
Well, neither does Gundam.
That we know of.
Well, Sayaka didn't either.
Intuition. Which is bullcrap, by the way.
Anyway, we just need to to figure out the meaning of this piece of evidence. We haven't really discussed it.
Yeah.
Because she was doing something that's only possible if her feet were on the floor.
Standing.
It seems you suffer from a pathetic delusion.
You're one to talk.
Anyway, if this continues, we're just gonna talk in circles. So let's talk in circles while I shoot word arrows at the appropriate point.
Well, they're word bullets, but sure.
I know, but that was for Ibuki. I think it's best if we clarify Ibuki's status when Hiyoko was killed.
I mean, it's probably blood on the soles, but I guess there's blood on the stepladder.
Yeah.
When Hiyoko died, Ibuki's feet were on the floor.
I am telling you to present your evidence.
Did you see her walking?
If her feet were on the floor, was there any sign she stepped on something?
Such as the blood. And the only thing that has to do with the blood is the blood on the soles.
Maybe her
Right.
feet were on the floor.
So I think we should agree with
But she was
that.
like sitting or something. So instead, there'd be a mark on her ass.
Because there isn't anything like that.
Weak, I say! It doesn't even pierce my heart.
What does that have to do with anything?
I don't know. I just understand what he's saying, and I don't even think it's weird anymore. Is there some reason it isn't blood on the soles?
It's the only thing of the truth bullets we have that indicates Ibuki was still up and about after Hiyoko died. Because if Ibuki was hung first, there's no way the blood would have gotten on the bottom of her shoes.
If her feet were on the floor, was there any sign she stepped on?
Booyah!
I agree with that.
It seems so obvious. I'm just wondering, is there something about that that we're
Just as someone
mistaking?
said, Ibuki stepped on something. That something was blood. There were faint blood stains on the soles of her slippers.
And it was also the semi-transparent glob she stepped on, right?
Probably. I bet she stepped on every one of those.
That is not Ibuki's blood, right? She suffered no external injuries.
That's why I was so confused by this. This is such an obvious point that everyone was going on about this and having so much trouble with it, and just makes me think, is there something fundamental we're not getting? Are we assuming too many things?
No, David, it was something fundamental they weren't getting.
I guess so!
Then it's Hiyoko's blood.
Hiyoko's only wound was a fatal slice on her neck. And she died almost instantly, right?
If Ibuki stepped on her blood...
It means Ibuki was still standing when Hiyoko was mortally wounded.
And, like, if she'd been dragged, then it would only be on, like, the heel of her shoes or something like that.
Well,
like her body was dragged through the blood or something.
It would be in many places other than her shoes. In many places where it wasn't.
Like her ass.
I guess the thing that I was thinking about, we already have evidence indicating that the time of death and the order of death was wrong.
Right.
We already know the order is wrong. Why are we still talking about it? But we did. There we go. We established it. Fine.
Which means Ibuki was still alive at the exact moment Hiyoko was killed.
Don't underestimate the power of the evil eye.
Huh, going after Gundam, huh?
Is that it? A shepherd dressed in his Sunday's finest still reeks of lamb, Hajime Hinata.
Okay, that's actually awesome. That's great. I love that line.
Does that mean you have a rebuttal?
Come on, guys.
I mean, this is the rebuttal showdown screen we're in.
Does that mean you have a rebuttal? That's a good line.
The real Gundam emerged.
But are you sure you're sure? If I show you how serious I am, this world might be destroyed, you know.
Does that mean we'll wake up in the real world?
Well, then destroy the world, Gundam!
You're
Bring
so
it
smart,
on!
You can't even make a sound. It seems you've realized our difference in status.
You just think what you want, buddy.
Why don't you open up the status screen and show us how you have higher stats then?
However, the time for conviction starts now. You better entertain me to the fullest.
Okay.
Anyway, we got a skill for this too, giving us more sharpness. So doesn't that kind of trivialize it?
I'm betting
You're
it's
saying
smudge
blood
on the floor.
Ibuki's feet belong to Hiyoko. Ha! Impossible. Try to remember the crime scene. There was no blood. You can't step on blood that was never there.
Yeah, it's the
Just
smudge
about
on the
one
floor.
minute. Did you see a nice nightmare?
You needed to shoot the blood.
I realize that, but
it's
normally-
never done that before.
Right,
yeah.
it's never thrown that at me from the beginning,
Neat.
so I was just like...
Is this a trap?
You're saying the blood on Ibuki's feet. Ha! Impossible. Try
I like
to
how
remember
even
the crime
Hajime
scene.
was like,
There
wait a
was
minute.
no blood on the floor.
It was right there!
Cut through those words.
Kira Setemurao!
That's not it. The reason there was no blood on the floor is because the killer wiped it away afterward.
And there was blood on the floor. There was a blood smear.
That's a lot of blood to wipe away.
Don't say such foolish things. You don't have proof of that at all.
Yes, I do. It's this truth bullet right here. Throw it in his face.
Yes, I do. If you look closely, there's a streak on the floor where blood was wiped away.
When the killer tried to hide Hiyoko's body, they probably cleaned the blood at the same time.
I mean, how'd they miss that?
Ibuki must have already stepped in it, and the killer probably didn't even realize it.
The reason they wiped off the blood on the floor was so we'd mix up the order of the murders, right?
That appears to be the central facet of this case.
Even if they're able to hide Hiyoko's body, it'd be bad if her blood was left out in the open.
Everything that was done in this case, like everything. is about this.
It centers on us thinking that Ibuki hung herself and then Hiyoko was murdered.
Yeah.
Plus, Ibuki's body was left out in the open, and it wasn't bleeding from any open wounds at all.
Hiyoko's body was probably wrapped in duct tape to stop her bleeding. Actually, the bleeding will stop once the heart stops beating, so I don't think they had to go that far.
Uh-huh.
Aside from Mikon, none of us were aware of that fact, so the killer probably did not know it either.
I mean...
Do we have to say anything?
Maybe the heater was running inside the music venue so it would screw with Mikon's autopsy?
Who are you and what have you done with Kazuichi?
That's right! I didn't know the time of death because of the heater!
If the time of death wasn't mentioned in the Monokuma file just to keep concrete evidence from us.
Monokuma?
Yep. Since we have all this evidence, there's no one else who wants to object, right? Then it's decided. Hiyoko was killed before Ibuki.
Right!
It appears that it is wiser to retreat for now. Fine then. But regardless of good or evil, there's no deceit in upholding one's convictions.
It's true. There's no deceit in it.
Can't you just shut up and back off?
He was! That's what he was saying!
Kazuichi just doesn't understand Gundam.
That's true.
Now then, let us resume our debate.
Wait a sec. There's something I want to run by Monokuma first.
Probably another clarification of the rules.
Again? Didn't something like this happen last time, too?
Yeah, and we keep pointing out how it's doing it this way.
Hey, if the victim actually committed suicide, what are we supposed to do?
That's true.
In view... Well, no, he already told us.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay? Monokuma was like, well, even if it is suicide, there's still a blackened. And the thing is we even have the example of the last trial, where Fuyuhiko chose to be the blackened. He was given, or I mean, chose to not be the blackened. He was given the option to say yes or no, and Monokuma was going to go with that. If somebody made Ibuki commit suicide, based on the last case, and based on Monokuma too, who's really open to arguments, you can convince him of all kinds of things. Go save Fuyuhiko. Go save Nekomaru.
That's not suspicious in any way.
One of these people could be the blackened with the same set of facts. Like, oh, that's actually a pretty convincing argument. So...
Was that necessary?
Yes. So...
It was.
You could say that the person who made Ibuki commit suicide is the blackened, or that Ibuki is the blackened if he committed suicide. I kind of feel like we've already addressed this point, but... That's basically my refrain for this episode, is we've already addressed this point. I don't know. Anyway.
Huh? Suicide?
The same as always. You have to vote for who the killer is.
But who the killer is? Convince me, fellas. This is a trial and I'm the judge. Right?
Think about it. A suicide means you've killed the most important existence of all, yourself.
Huh.
Unfortunately, that means there's no blackened to punish, but I guess in a pinch, I can always punish Monami.
I'm always behind that sentiment.
Sure, that's fine.
Why me?
Why not?
Oh, we don't need to worry about that point.
Nagito? What do you mean? if the victim actually committed suicide.
Oh, just that!
Well, I mean, I understand Hiyoko's death, but I'm wondering if Ibuki was really murdered. For example, it's possible Ibuki killed Hiyoko, and then committed suicide due to a guilty conscience, right?
As the person who is potentially the accomplice here, I have no reason not to be deceptive.
That's totally impossible. Then she never would have killed her to begin with.
That's true?
There's all the... Yeah, it is completely impossible. All the theatrics, all the setup.
Mm-hmm.
She was afflicted by the despair disease, remember? That means anything can happen.
Now, he didn't see it. He didn't see her, and he doesn't know what she was like.
That's true.
The details of this matter.
They do.
But if Ibuki's the killer, she wouldn't have been able to falsify the sequence of the murders, right?
That's true.
We didn't need to go that far, but...
After Hajime saw the hanged body, the sudden appearance of Hiyoko's body soon after means...
Well, I guess that's that.
The killer had to be alive at that time.
So zombie Ibuki swung from the rope with her extremely muscular neck, latched onto the baton lighting, but she didn't have enough length on the rope, which is why there was still that square remaining, see?
I see.
So then she ripped it all off, but in so doing...
And then folded it up and hucked it through the door into the staff room.
Yeah, and when that's exactly what she did. And when she threw it so hard because she had to throw it in that shape so it would make sure to boomerang and land on the shelf, and the vacuum would close the door afterwards, right? You know, like from the
recoil.
From the motion of the wallpaper through the door would like force the door to slam behind it. In order to make that happen, she threw out her shoulder, which actually caused a rupture to open up, so it like bled on the floor. So then she dropped her sandals into it to try and mop it up, and then she
put them back on and magically healed the rupture.
I haven't figured out how she did those two parts yet, but I think we're onto this.
I think you're onto something.
Then she was alive. When Hajime first discovered Ibuki, she was just pretending to be dead.
She's doing a darn good job!
Come on!
If she waited until Hajime left, that's when she could have made her move and mess with the crime scene.
But!
Can I just say that if Mikan is the killer and Nagito was the accomplice, Nagito and Mikan were spending a lot of time together, huh?
She did spend most of her time with him.
Because it seemed as though he was dying. Anyway, if you know, he could easily have worked his magic on her while she got the despair disease. It's just like they're sure making it look like that's the case. They are sure acting in a way that would indicate that that is what happened.
And so that's why we need to be suspicious because of how obvious it is.
No. This is a line of thinking that has served us well every time.
She hanged herself. Remember? There's no fucking way she could have faked that.
And if she was going to fake her death, I think she wouldn't have chosen hanging.
Yes.
Her body would have been defenseless in that state. If anyone touched her, that alone would have ruined her plan.
Yeah, because my first reaction to seeing that was like, we need to run over there and see if she's okay.
Well, I was thinking she probably wasn't going to make it if she did it properly.
But if what they're saying is true, like, I would have ran over and checked her before running off to find everyone. Like, to make sure she was dead.
Oh, yeah. Because Hajime just showed up and then ran off without doing anything else.
Yeah, and as she said, that would have ruined her plan. If she was faking it the first time.
But she wasn't.
Right.
I see. So that means there's no doubt that someone killed those two. I'm glad. Now I'm free to search for the killer.
What the heck?
Oh. He's just establishing, he's done that this trial so far, is say something and immediately is contradicted and knows it and is glad about it.
Yeah.
He's just making us prove things which you could prove, or you could say is leading.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. If he is the accomplice, of course he's going to want them to find the killer. That's the whole point. You see, he would...
Not Nagito. If he's the accomplice and dies for it, that's what he wanted. Oh, no, that's what you mean. But he wants Nagito to lose.
Yes.
Well, if he doesn't fight, then they're not. Then the other students aren't winning. If the other students aren't winning, there's no despair and hope to be gained.
That's the thing.
But he's folding on all of his fights instantly.
I know.
It's making it look like he's wanting it to be the other way around, that he doesn't want them to have to struggle.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
There's still one more issue on my mind. If Ibuki didn't commit suicide, then just what was that video Hajime saw?
What was it indeed, buddy?
Why don't you tell us?
It wasn't Akane in the video.
There's not enough tape in the world to tape those down.
And it wasn't Mikon in the video.
There's only one person it could have been. What?
According to that video you saw, Ibuki was by herself when she climbed the stepladder, right?
If we're right that this happened in the conference room on the upper floor of the hospital, there is literally
only one person it could have been.
And it could only have been Nagito that's right here, and there's no blood on the stepladder here.
Right.
And considering we know that Hiyoko was already killed, this can't be that room or the stepladder would have blood on it.
Yeah!
So that is Nagito. There isn't anybody else it could be unless there's somebody in the hospital that's not supposed to be there.
It sure isn't Nekomaru, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's not him either!
Then does that mean someone forced her to do it?
No!
Well, that would work.
Forced? Perhaps they used hypnotism or something?
The others don't know how Ibuki was acting because the motel team wasn't there. This also means that it's somebody using the knowledge of the hospital team. Only somebody in the hospital team would know that other people in the hospital team would begin to argue this point.
Yeah!
I don't know anything about that.
Uh-huh.
Don't say it all proud.
Putting that aside, it seems obvious that the killer did something.
We have to be right on this point.
So, maybe we should figure out who was able to do whatever that was.
And now, on this point, she's a lot more mousy and uncertain, whereas earlier in the trial, she was acting slightly more confident, not stammering as much, just being like, oh, well, I guess this point proves it wasn't me. Shots.
If it is Mikon, I wonder if she's doing it, or if she did it to try and be helpful. She'll do all manner of crazy things to help somebody out, right? She'd eat bugs.
Take off her clothes, give them money.
And do like terrible things, inflicting harm on herself to help somebody out who asked her to help.
If she was trying to do it to help everyone, then wouldn't she admit...
No, she would have been doing it to help Nagito because he asked. She would do things to try to be helpful to other people, and like the person who's asking her to do it. I mean, the fact of the matter is she is kind of warped.
Yes, that is true.
She knows that it's not right, but she is that way nonetheless. And that's anyway.
That's sad, but that's something
just
we should consider.
That's just a guess. Yeah.
So, an alibi. Then our plan is to destroy the weakest alibi. Since Hajime has seen the video, it is clear what time the crime took place.
And that I didn't do it. Just want to clarify that.
But just to be sure, that surveillance camera doesn't have a record function, right?
Yeah, I'd talked about this before. It might have been something that didn't make it into the video, but when we were trying to figure out why the camera
was smashed later
next to the monitor, we were saying that there isn't a record function.
Yeah, which means they would have had to take the camera from the conference room and then smashed it after Hajime showed up and left.
Yeah, and Hajime is the only person who saw that video. So...
That's correct.
It's a cheap-ass surveillance camera, you know? There's no way it'd have some kind of sweet recording feature.
Just because I'm the world's ultimate engineer and something doesn't mean I can add a function that doesn't exist.
Then, the video Hajime saw was actually live?
It's the only way, the only thing it could have been.
Hajime see that video?
Before the announcement.
I saw it at the hospital, right before Monokuma's morning announcement.
And the only person, or the only way that somebody could have been sure that there would be someone to see this video live before Monokuma's announcement would be somebody from the hospital who knew that Hajime and Fuyuhiko had to travel from the cottages to the hospital in the early morning.
Especially someone who woke Hajime up to make sure he'd get there in time.
And he'd make sure he's awake.
And I saw the body at the music venue a little after Monokuma's announcement.
So Ibuki hanged herself right before Monokuma's announcement. And since we established that Hiyoko was killed before Ibuki...
Ibuki likely had been dead for some time.
Yeah!
Because what we saw live... Well, we still haven't had any...
We still have to punch through that, yeah.
We still don't have any proof, but how could it not be in the conference room?
Yeah!
That means the time that the murders occurred was before and during the announcement.
Not true.
Then we just have to find the person who doesn't have an alibi during that time?
Now then, I shall issue my decree. Let Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi commence.
That's a decree I can get behind. Oh.
Go forth with your great power, my friends! And I guess there's no way Gundam can respond to something like that.
We can exclude the sick people like me and Akane, right?
And what about the others?
Right before the morning announcement, I was totally sleeping in my motel room.
I think
Okay,
everyone
we'll
at the
look at
motel was
Fuyuhiko
doing
and
that.
Sonia's account.
So everyone is...
Right up until the Monokuma announcement that morning, Mikan was with Hajime the whole time. Man, what a convenient alibi.
What about you guys?
I was where I was supposed to be, my own cottage.
That's not an alibi.
Aside from those afflicted by the disease, if nobody has an alibi, then Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi has failed.
Well, we have several alibis.
Yeah.
I mean, we have, like, Fuyuhiko's takes care of everything, and that's really what it is.
Yeah, it's got to be...
Isn't it Fuyuhiko's account on that? Because
Yeah.
Fuyuhiko's account says where he was and where Mikan was.
Yeah, because he accounts for both of their locations.
I mean, Mikan's account is mainly talking about something else, so
Right.
this is the one we need.
If nobody has an alibi, then
Okay, then it's Fuyuhiko's account agreeing with him saying he was at his cottage. That's not quite the case. Let's go through this again.
It's Mikan's account there. Afterwards, she went to the hospital to check on everyone.
Gotta love how, despite looking at the accounts for a moment, we still got them wrong.
That's fine. So he took a hit. He'll recover in like, what, 2 seconds of focus?
if nobody has an alibi...
There we go.
No, that's wrong.
As it turns out, the most suspicious person has an alibi.
Hold on. Not all of us are missing an alibi.
After all, the most suspicious person is the person who needs to have an alibi.
In fact, Mikan and I both have alibis.
Plus, I also couldn't have done it because, see, ticket. I'm just gonna keep waving this around until it becomes relevant again.
That's basically been established.
You two have alibis?
I don't want to talk about it.
Come
I
on!
have to talk about it.
Come on, Sonia!
Up until I saw that hanging video, Mikan and I were actually together for a while.
We even woke up together that morning.
You didn't have to say that, Mikan! I understand we're in the middle of a trial and everything, but
Do you want me to take off my clothes?
is this a trick question?
I accidentally fell asleep on top of Hajime.
Mikan, did you do that for this specific moment in the trial so you could completely distract everyone?
Too much info.
Yeah, it's not like that. She just came to tell me Nagito's condition had improved.
And we went to the hospital together afterward. So we were together until right before the announcement.
What do we have to say? We already said everything.
I get it. You guys have alibis.
What about yours?
Don't you smirk at me, Fuyuhiko.
Where's Nekomaru to come in and prove that you aren't the killer? You'll be the killer next time too, Akane. First person I suspect.
If that's the case, the killer must be someone else.
We get into Danganronpa 3, and I'm gonna suspect Akane. like, well, Akane isn't in this game. I mean, unless she is, I have no idea. But it's like, Akane isn't in this game, and I'll be like, that's how you know it's her. Because where's her alibi? Because she's not here. How do you know that? She's hiding in the closet.
No, she's in the locker.
It's better if we think about it like that. The killer decided to falsify the murder sequence to hide the actual time of the crime anyway.
So, what we just established didn't mean anything!
So it's inevitable that an alibi for both before and during the morning announcement would be very important.
Are they about to actually go that route? Like, you have an alibi, so it's because no one else has an alibi, it must be you!
Not yet,
it feels
anyway.
Like Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi has backed us into a corner instead.
Oh good. What now, buddy?
But committing an imitation murder, is that really all it was?
Huh?
Faking the time the crime occurred by falsifying the murder sequence, hiding their alibi in the process? Was that the only reason the killer made both bodies imitate the movie?
What is he getting at?
Are you saying there was another reason?
I feel really bad for confusing you guys so much, but that's how I feel. I think the killer had a completely different reason for falsifying the murder sequence.
Yeah?
The killer had a different reason? What? If that's the case, are we still in the killer's trap?
Right there on screen!
Inside a trap set by one of us? If so, then whose? And what kind of trap is it? I mean, we did just establish that Mikan had an alibi.
Yeah.
What? An intermission?
Already? Man, we've been moving through this fast, huh?
Hiya!
Why, hello there, Moromi! The mothballs, or was I saying moss? I'm pretty sure I said moth, though. Whatever they are, they're balls and they're stings. They sure look tasty today.
Oh, have you come to look at my balls?
Stop it!
Don't characterize me as someone who lives off of mothballs.
Who was that and why was he here? Let's kill him.
Oh no, not again!
And here's some chance time!
What? What's that?
Now then, Motomi's appeal time starts now!
Huh? Appeal time?
Come on, you stupid little sister! Don't you even know what I'm talking about?
No, and I don't want to know.
Your kind-hearted big brother is gonna give you the chance to reclaim your honor. Remember, there's someone caught in a trap even now. Your kind-hearted big brother is going to give you the chance to reclaim your honor. You're in my trap! Show those jerks who treat you like a red-headed stepchild! BSG, who's boss?
Does that mean I'm in a bear trap?
Now, if you wanted to deliver a pun like that, you should have done it earlier. You missed your chance. This is why you're no good at this and everyone hates you.
That's 99% your fault.
Well, it's true, yes. While you were whining, your time's already running out. Even PSG took your time. They'll take everything from you. So please make your appeal simple. About 30,000 words or so. Should only take about 7 episodes.
That's too long. It'll just be a boring appeal.
Come on, if your appeal is successful, there might be merchandise opportunities heading your way.
Then I'm Usami, magical miracle girl Usami. I'm an itty bitty girl who's sweet like milk.
Sumaran. I thought a certain robot little sister was supposed to be the best.
What a disappointment!
Who are you talking about? I have no clue whatsoever.
This is all really very confusing, isn't it? What a boring appeal, right?
I'm Monami. Once again,
I do like
I've
these.
been put in such an unreasonable situation.
But I'm very pro-ritual.
Yeah, it's important for establishing a flow, like a narrative flow, especially when it's something that, like a recurring element of the game.
Yeah, it puts the audience in a particular mindset.
Seriously, he's like the king of unreasonableness. Why did it turn out like this?
No, this is where you're supposed to kind of recap what was happening, not for you to just complain more about Monokuma. You can do that whenever.
We were supposed to have a fun, friendly school trip, but it turned out all bloody instead.
I guess she's kind of recapping.
You don't need to go back that far.
This definitely cannot be allowed. That's why I want you to remember this.
It was Mikan who did it.
Everyone, do your very best. Don't lose to yourself. And don't forget to save frequently.
You want us to save frequently? I don't understand the principle behind that. Man, I don't know what that was about, but the reason the killer did an imitation murder is a reason other than falsifying the murder sequence?
I don't know about that.
Does something like that even exist?
Well, that's what they're talking
Got
about.
quiet in here.
They're talking about falsifying the location as well.
Ah!
To give us something else to think about. I mean, we haven't brought that up yet, and nobody's even thinking about it, but, you know, we basically thought about it instantly.
Okay, that's what he's getting at.
Did I confuse you? If so, I wish I could die from self-loathing.
My hand.
That laugh of yours, I swear to God.
Man, this again.
If that's the case, it would have been just dandy if they had gone ahead and killed me too.
Funny you're saying that.
I know.
If that happened, the imitation would have been perfect. So why didn't they do that?
Well, I mean, there's actually a rule against it now.
Now? There wasn't then.
It's against the rules to kill 3 people in the first place.
Now?
But, I mean, we've got everybody accounted for. Unless Nekomaru was in the hospital after all. No! That's a non sequitur, you fool. Don't take my non sequiturs seriously.
You're a non sequitur.
That rule is too harsh. I couldn't get killed because of that.
Poor baby.
Seriously, just shut up already. Shut up forever.
I like how Kazuichi's only role is to go...
Shut up.
Yeah, it's to tell everybody to shut up and also to talk about boobs.
Well,
Hey, wait, isn't that my role?
But I'm thinking about it again, and he's totally right. It feels incomplete.
Because they didn't kill 3 people like the movie did? That's only because of Monokuma's rule.
Which no one knew at the time.
It's not just that. Come on, try to remember the content of the movie.
Do I have to?
About the lion that got killed second.
That's the one Hiyoko's body was imitating, right?
The only thing that makes it an imitation is the strung up, but the death was the arrows, as we've always pointed out.
Yeah, and the fact that it was the second death as well.
Yeah, that's the major part.
But that was part of how they were trying to befuddle the order of the murders.
It always seemed that it being an imitation murder always seemed like a stretch.
Yeah.
Even though we're calling it an imitation, the lion was actually pinned by arrows, right?
Thank you!
Oh, Chiaki, we can always count on you to address the BS after we do, but you know.
We aren't actually in the game, though, Billy.
But Hiyoko's body was suspended by common household duct tape.
Alright, I suppose that's a fair point, Daymon.
Maybe they just used a common substitute because it was too difficult to imitate the arrows.
Oh, man, it sounds like you have a good idea of what the excuse really is.
Well, that's probably it, but that attitude is what makes this feel incomplete.
I agree completely!
If falsifying the murder sequence was the killer's plan from the very beginning, They should have taken steps to properly imitate it.
Yeah, that's right.
But if we never realized it was a half-assed imitation, their entire plan would have been completely useless.
What are you trying to say? Are you saying the imitation wasn't planned?
Was spur of the moment?
Or is he saying the imitation doesn't exist?
Like just a coincidence that people are drawing that imitation?
No, I don't think so.
I'm saying, Hiyoko's murder wasn't.
What?
Hiyoko's murder wasn't planned?
I understand that imitation wasn't enough, but aren't you making a bunch of assumptions?
It could just be our style generally,
Mm-hmm.
but in every case in this game so far, and basically the last one too, with the exception of the second one, where it was there, we just didn't see it then.
Yeah.
In every case, like, a person who's taking a prominent position on the lead is also the person who is, like, our chief suspect. But after so many times where this has happened, when you can then say, because the person is taking the lead, that makes them the most prominent suspect, even if they weren't before.
Using that as kind of like a meta...
Yeah.
A meta argument for why they are?
Yes, exactly. A meta argument for why they're the suspect. But it's so consistent. Isn't that kind of bad?
I suppose it can't really be helped too much, though, don't you think?
It is something
like
that makes
the nature
sense.
of story structure and the structure that Danganronpa itself has established. If one of the people that's taking a big lead in the trial is the killer, isn't that kind of the game trying to get a lot of use out of them before they die?
I mean, that's part of it, I guess, but mainly I'm complaining
that we can use it to sort of...
it's not necessarily that I'm complaining, I guess, but because in every case, in this game so far, we've kind of had... I guess the fourth case in the first game subverted it.
Yeah.
But in this one, it's just like, we have been using this as evidence as to why that suspect was the killer. And I feel like it kind of makes it a little too obvious, but I suppose you have to be looking in that right you have to be in the right headspace to be thinking in that way.
Yeah.
But when you start thinking that way, you can't unthink that way.
I guess we'll find out, ultimately.
It's not just the poor imitation. There are also other strange details.
Strange details? Like what?
Like, for example, why did Hiyoko go to the music venue?
It was just an accident, huh? The whole time was just an accident that it turned out that way, and it was just supposed to be to set up the hanging, huh?
Like maybe Hiyoko stumbled across the murder and then had to be taken out? Like she came there to...
Well, yeah, there isn't anything else that could be.
Why did Hiyoko go to the music venue? I actually have a truth bullet for that.
I think I talked about this issue enough.
The truth behind Hiyoko's murder is hidden?
I have no freaking clue what you're trying to say.
However, this is getting quite interesting. My 4 dark devas of destruction are getting riled up.
Do court proceedings just do it for them, or... Why Hiyoko went to the music venue? If that's the key to all this, I need to find that out, no matter the cost. Okay, so it's...
What is the point of this?
It's gonna be Sonia's account!
Or we don't have it. Well, let's see what they say.
Yeah.
We've got a lot, too.
Why did Hiyoko go to the music venue? There's no way we'd know that!
Maybe the killer summoned her.
If that's not it, maybe she got abducted by the killer.
No.
No, maybe. She went of her own free will.
Yeah.
Or...
What's up with all the little...
She was guided by the will of causality.
Is somebody faking to produce white noise?
I don't know. Were you talking about like those little...
The bracket things.
The bracket things. What?
Faking noise!
Maybe the killer summoned her.
Well, it's not that.
That's not it.
The only thing here is...
Maybe she got abducted by the killer.
Well, she wasn't abducted by the killer.
No,
the only thing here that makes sense is the key.
She went of her own free will.
And that's what would prove it.
Yeah. Because there's nothing else. I mean, it's true, but there's also nothing else in the bullets that has anything to do with Hiyoko going anywhere.
And they're all agree points, so we can't remember those and shoot those later.
Yeah. It's because of the AC in a different building that Hiyoko was abducted. That's what the answer is, isn't it?
You are correct, sir.
There's no way we'd know that.
Maybe the killer summoned her.
And Mikan is the one who said, "There's no way I know why
Maybe
she
got
showed
abducted
up."
by the killer.
Take your dang brackets and...
She went of her own free will.
I agree with that.
I mean, she knows.
Wow, this is just agree with Sonya at the trial.
I can think of worse things to get behind.
That's true.
It's just as Sonya said. She went to the music venue of her own free will.
So, exactly as I assumed.
And that's why Sonya felt bad about it. Why she felt like it was her fault. Because she suggested Hiyoko go there and use the full-length mirror.
I feel like I've said enough on basically everything involving that, so rarely I'm going to shut my mouth on this topic for now.
If no one called for her, then why did she go?
Do you like how I said I was going to shut my mouth?
And then continued to talk for like a good, 2 seconds?
Yeah.
Hiyoko locked herself in her room because she was being overly cautious of the despair disease, you know? I don't think a person like that would leave their room just because someone called for them.
There's no way she got abducted?
She wouldn't have had the key on her otherwise.
Yeah, the key proves it.
Plus, the door would have been, broken in or
if they
something.
If they wanted to make it obvious, the key would have been easy to find.
Yeah.
Hyoko locked the room she was staying in before she went out.
Huh. Nagito is the one who came up with that. I wonder if we're wrong about the whole Nagito accomplice thing.
Maybe so. But I'm gonna blame him as often as I get the chance.
No, sort of like me accusing Akane.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just doing it because I seem to have been led there every single time, so I'm just gonna run with it. But
I'm gonna laugh if she makes it the entire way through.
That can't be Mikan.
No! Mikan's got the boobs.
Yeah, she's too curvy.
And I'm sorry, but that's a guy's physique. That is a guy's physique.
It doesn't have
story.
There's no nails, like the black nails.
Oh, all right. But even if we...
There's the hair.
Like, the curves, or lack thereof, of his body. That is a guy. Like, the arm proportions...
I agree with that. I'm just trying to ignore it and I'm trying to disprove this assertion that we share.
Okay.
Is that actually Ibuki hair there?
That's not hair, that's a shadow.
Isn't it?
That's like the cloth of the... That's a shadow.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And then, of course, the most glaring fact, there's no blood on the step stool.
Yeah, and like we pointed out, I'm just making sure, I'm just challenging our assertion here, because the only people that were there at the hospital, assuming it wasn't somebody from the motel team, the only people who were there at the hospital were rather well proportioned, except for Ibuki, which it's not Ibuki.
Honestly, I'm wondering how the bag fit over her head with those horns, but
hey, we tried that with Yasuhiro and Danganronpa shut us down.
I know.
So that's the end of that. But it has to be Nagito. There isn't anybody else there unless Gundam showed up.
He doesn't have a bandage around his arm, I'm just saying.
I agree with you. But if we can't disprove the assertion, then it's probably true.
If she was forcibly taken from her room, there's no way she would have had time to lock it.
Excuse me, Mr. Kidnapper. Just give me one moment. Okay, let's go.
The killer could have locked her door, right? Just to hide the fact Hiyoko got abducted.
That's exactly what Hiyoko does, is go along with things other people ask her to do. She does that That's sarcasm, you fool! You were taking me seriously again! God dang! Are you sure you don't have despair disease, Billy? Just the way that Ibuki did? You took my non sequitur seriously earlier?
Maybe you're right. I have been acting rather strange this episode, haven't I? Nagito did nothing wrong.
Then they couldn't have hidden her room key that deep in her kimono. They would have put it somewhere more obvious. Otherwise, there's no point in messing with the crime scene if nobody finds the key.
Yeah, like you said, she would have raised such a ruckus if someone was trying to kidnap her, and there is no way anyone would ignore her, shrieking.
Yeah.
At the time, you were the one who actually took out the key, right? Then something like that.
I won't lose.
What?
Well, she's just here to argue about this.
Are you saying my gut was wrong?
Now, Akane.
Okay, it's been right before, but then you had this horrible losing streak.
This could be my first and last highlight of the day. Why won't you just let me shine already?
How meta! Well,
Akane!
I accuse you, Akane! Prove me wrong! Wait, that's not what's going on, but...
That's not the issue.
Shut up! Enough with your fancy talk.
Like, earlier we spent
right
we spent all this time talking about, like, narrative structure and why that's always pointed to who the killer has been in the trials. And here Akane is making an argument on... here, meathead dumb Akane, based on her gut, is making an argument based on her gut that is about the narrative structure, a meta argument. Very nice.
Not the person I would have expected.
Or maybe the only person you would expect.
Oh.
Might have a real rebuttal showdown this time. Sonia's account, right?
It has to be.
Hiyoko was locked inside her room, right? She definitely got abducted or something. The killer forced their way into Hiyoko's room.
Whoa, weird tone change. Oh, that was the mistake.
Forcibly abducted her. That girl is so small and weak looking. And that's why the
nice shot.
targeted her.
And this way we got everything cut down.
Yes.
And we still had...
Hiyoko's room was locked. The key was deep inside her kimono, remember? It's more likely that Hiyoko locked the door herself.
The killer was the one who locked the door.
Oh! And then you could have
So
gone
what if the key was
diagonally
in her
there.
Maybe the killer just put it there later.
Whoa!
Yeah, you're really having to fight.
The killer to put the key in Hiyoko's kimono.
This is cool.
I like how
killer probably
the
didn't
unarmed
realize
fighter
she
is the one
had
putting
the
up the biggest fight.
Hold on. Try
Whoa.
remembering Hiyoko's body. Her kimono was all messed up.
Uh-huh.
Dude!
There's only one reason her kimono would be that messed up.
Wasn't that it?
Well, I don't see how Sonia's
She
account...
the killer. That's the proof she was abducted, right?
I guess I was jumping to the first
My
one that
God,
was going to
it's
show up.
totally right after all.
Missed it.
Huh.
Okay, then wasn't that it? Look at Sonia's... Or maybe it's not Sonia's account, but...
Yeah, I don't think it was Sonia's...
Hiyoko was distraught because her kimono was disheveled. So Akane, that one that I said dude on, was saying it was about the kimono.
Yeah,
That's
you're
why
right.
I was saying it was that.
Okay. I was focusing on the wrong part of the account.
Yeah, just like I did with Fuyuhiko and Mikan's account earlier.
Her kimono was all messed up.
Oh.
Right, because it was on backwards. The bow.
Her kimono was all messed up. There's only one reason her kimono would be that messed up. She fought
Is
the
it not
killer.
that? Then, I mean, it's worth trying.
Yeah, you're right.
Allow me to cut through those words.
Wow, Akane really did get to shine by giving the...
Hiyoko's kimono was messed up was because she wasn't able to properly wear it.
Which is what I was trying to say. Akane actually gave the most interesting...
Yeah,
one of those
rebuttal
so far,
showdown here.
With, like, all the spinning words. You have to, like, really line to aim them all up.
It was really fitting with her personality and way of talking.
Yeah, it was. It was good.
Everyone's like how Pekko's were all like really sort of angular and sharp.
Were they?
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't actually playing it, so I can't really make those types of observations so much.
I like how everyone's rebuttal showdown so far, even if I don't necessarily think the rebuttal showdown needs to be in here, but whatever, have been interesting and fun and different.
What, you don't like it?
I just feel like if we're going with the whole Danganronpa shooting thing, why suddenly throw in a sword-based thing, you know? It just seems a little weird and out of place.
It'd be different
But,
okay, I see what
but
you're
I'm
saying.
enjoying it.
Wear her kimono?
Kiru! The word is kiru! Like, it does mean to wear, but you wouldn't translate that as wear. You would translate it as put on or sometimes wear. It's called freaking localization. Oh my god, they have been saying this whole time and I can't keep it in anymore.
Yeah, it's also the reason why she decided to go out on her own.
Fuku o kiru, kimono o kiru. Kiru also means cut, but that's not relevant here.
Well, it kind of was.
Well, I mean, it's not quite how homonyms work, but anyway.
You heard it here first. Daymon wants to cut off Hiyoko's kimono.
Yeah?
Hiyoko seemed to be really struggling with wearing her kimono. I believe that was one of the reasons she locked herself in her room. That is why I informed her. I told her that there was a full-length mirror at the music venue, and I suggested that she use it.
And just like you'd said before, the only people that knew about this are Hajime and Sonia.
Yeah.
Well, and Hiyoko, but...
Right. And this just further goes to show that her showing up was a mistake. Like, not planned.
Then the reason her kimono was messed up wasn't because she fought the killer.
Like Mikan herself said, I guess, it was just an accident.
Right. And I do think it's funny that Akane was just like Hiyoko, the tiniest, smallest, physically weakest person, did battle with the killer.
Huh? What are you talking about? Wouldn't you always fight somebody? Wouldn't you always fight? No,
Yeah,
that was
yes, you're
Akane.
right.
That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
way Akane thinks, too.
But, I mean, if someone was trying to kill you, then yes, you should always fight back, but yeah.
Yeah, she went to the venue on her own just to fix her messed up kimono.
Oh.
I get it. I lost. Boil me, burn me, take off my clothes. Do whatever you want to me.
Well, if you insist.
Kazumi, get out of here!
Oh.
Hajime, now's your chance. Make her admit defeat. Or better yet, make her do a little something something.
Kazuichi.
You have no room to talk! You have no room to talk!
Man's nut! Man's nut! No!
Then, the killer probably couldn't have assumed that Hiyoko would go to the music venue.
Though that may not apply to Sonia, since she provided Hiyoko with that information.
Yeah, I mean, that's the next reasonable thing.
When did this happen? The answer is this happened after Sonia talked to Hiyoko, meaning it was some time in advance.
Yeah, wasn't it yesterday?
Yeah,
that
it
she
would have
talked
been
to Hiyoko?
yesterday evening. And if you think about it, that's a long time ago that this happened.
Though I knew she would go there, there is no way I could have predicted when she would arrive.
That's true.
Don't go doubting Miss Sonia, you cretin. I'll put you and your hamsters 6 feet under.
Oh, you better watch it. You can't start picking a fight with Gundam. He's just going to talk at you, and that completely confuses you. Thus, he wins.
Kazuichi, it seems you have quite the fashion.
You don't got no room to talk, buddy!
So you're saying, in other words, that we should all die and then become undead? That's a good line. I'm going to keep that in mind.
What?
Do you want me to incinerate your clothes? Perhaps I could do that while you're wearing them.
What is with the amount of undress in this trial, Daymon?
Do you want me to take off my... Oh, this just doesn't seem appropriate anymore.
Everyone is stealing Mikan's shtick.
Gundam, please stop! For his sake!
I'm sorry, my shtick was so good that everybody else had to take it. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery and...
Please go on about imitation.
Wait a minute. That's pretty weird.
Huh? What do you mean, for my sake?
Miss Sonia, he can't actually set me on fire.
Watch
not
him!
like a torch or something.
Of course. I've already overlooked no less than 10 opportunities to kill you.
Even if the killer couldn't
Yeah.
why did Hiyoko get killed in the music venue?
That's the right way to respond.
I love that it's Fuyuhiko and the look on his face is just like, oh my god, let's just move on with this shit.
The only thing I can think of is, it was an unfortunate coincidence.
That hasn't happened either.
Coincidence?
First time that's happened.
Yeah.
When she went to the venue by herself, she was probably just unlucky and walked in on the crime scene.
She is
Oh, what if she did see Mikan killing Ibuki? How would she react to that?
Well, as has been well established up until now, I'm not sure how she would react. What I was going to say is she is the absolute unluckiest freaking person. But it's sort of like just to further destroy the poor little thing, the person that she's bullied for so long currently has the desperate grudge, apparently, I mean, if it was Mikan, she was willing to go this far, and I mean, it makes sense that it would be Mikan also from that point. It's poetic.
Yeah.
Profound.
If she's already in a state where she's willing to kill someone, do you really think she's gonna hesitate against Hiyoko?
Of all
who's been
people.
torturing her for God knows how long.
Longer than her current memory really is able to understand. But it's like, at that point, it's not the right person. Though it's also... I mean, would she have had the guts to go through with it if it would have been somebody other than Hiyoko? We have no idea. I'm still saying that that Mikan did this because of the despair disease. It was the motive.
Yeah, that's true.
And so she wasn't in her right mind. Alternately, Mikan has never been in her right mind. She's been
victimized pretty heavily.
It's like the blurred line between a joke and serious mental problems.
Yeah.
Like it could go both ways. So
this game is really good at presenting everyone's funny quirks in a humorous manner that makes everyone laugh, and then juxtaposes, yes. I was about to say juxtaposition, which isn't quite the right word I was looking for.
You're really talking about positions and clothes, huh?
You're the one! Well, the game's the one talking about clothes right now, but really juxtaposes it by showing that there
Can you say juxtapose again? I don't think the viewers have heard the word juxtapose enough.
I'll juxtapose your face.
With what?
My fist.
That was the only answer to that.
Then I'll have your face on my arm and my fist will be on your... What was I talking about? Anyway, what I was trying to say. Then you get these moments that show that, no, there's a lot more to these characters than just her, Mikan fall down.
Since I took your joke away from you, let me tell you where you were going.
You're too kind.
Everybody who has funny quirks, you can also take those funny quirks seriously, as they are kind of used for murder.
Yeah.
She was killed so there wouldn't be any loose ends?
It probably happened when the killer was preparing to kill Ibuki.
What else do you do, though? I'm not saying that's okay. It's obviously not. There is nothing okay about it. But if you are the killer and you have already committed to killing someone and then somebody shows up, you have to do it.
Yeah!
That's not okay, but it is rational.
Yeah.
The killer most likely had already placed the hemp bag over her head, and without hesitation,
killed Hiyoko.
And Mikan would have the medical knowledge to make an attack like that would kill her almost instantly.
Maybe.
Like with the scalpel.
Because the killer used that coincidence for their crime, it made this case even trickier.
That's the reason they imitated the movie, to falsify the murder sequence.
What a horrible life Hiyoko has had.
I feel really bad for her.
Which means that low-down scoundrel didn't plan on committing imitation murders at first.
It was really bad for Peko, too. But the difference is that Peko had somebody she was willing to give everything for, always there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that person returned those feelings, awkward kids, etc., maybe not the same feelings either of them had, but the other was the other was the most important person in the other's life.
Yeah.
Even if it was for totally different reasons. Peko was most definitely victimized, but at least she wasn't alone, and she misunderstood. It's like she didn't have to do it. I'm just basically saying that Hiyoko was probably...
The most tragic so far?
She was the most alone.
The most alone.
But I'm not trying to say that what happened with Peko wasn't tragic, because it was. Anyway.
Then what was the killer actually planning to do? They've been cunning this far. There's no way they'd kill Ibuki without a plan.
Because let me tell you, you don't act the way Hiyoko does if you're not alone.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe Mikan did intend to copy the movie, but and then kill maybe Akane next, the Cowardly Lion.
She had access to all these people.
All the 3 people who had illnesses that were similar to the 3 ailments of the Monomis.
Brainless,
cowardly, and heartless.
Nagito would have been the heartless one.
Yeah.
Hadn't even noticed that, yeah.
Do you have any ideas?
Someone in the comments of the last video pointed out that specific parallel, so I can't take all the credit for that. Thank you very much.
That's absolutely true.
Uh-oh. Does Chiaki have an inkling?
Damn, we don't know the most important part.
The killer's plan from the beginning. I'm pretty sure we're very, very close.
Hey Nagito, any ideas?
Ha! Ha! Hajime cannot do.
Oh? Why are you asking me?
Can I just say that your Nagito voice makes me want to punch you in the face? I just want to compliment you on that.
I just sound like the biggest freaking jerk that I can ever imagine.
Hey, how long are you gonna stay quiet?
Oh, am I allowed to speak?
He was reacting to earlier when Kazuichi told him to shut up. And then Kazuichi was like, aren't you going to say something? He's like, oh, okay.
I'm so happy I'm getting goosebumps. Everyone actually needs help from scum like me.
You are insane!
So what do you think?
I was thinking about it while I had my mouth shut. But now I'm finally able to come to a conclusion. Ibuki definitely didn't commit suicide.
Huh? What are you talking about?
I mean...
Haven't most of them come, or haven't some people come to this conclusion already?
Pretty sure.
I thought there might be a possibility that she faked her death and tampered with the crime scene. But now I remember. There was blood on Ibuki's slippers.
We pointed that out forever ago!
The word remember, oboeru, to remember, also means to learn. And I freaking hate it when in translations they make this mistake, because the word oboeru is to learn, and you can use it for remember. So it's like the way you would localize this.
Now that I have learned this.
But yeah, it's like, but then you told me. There was blood on Ibuki's slippers. Like, that would make sense for how to translate that line. My Japanese is terrible, okay? It really is bad. But
it's apparently better than the localizer.
No, it's not. But how is it that I can point out these mistakes?
So if she faked her death and walked around the music venue tampering with the crime scene, there'd be bloody footprints left in various places throughout the venue.
That's true, yeah.
That's why I think there's no way she faked her death. There's no way Ibuki committed suicide.
You know, we already finished talking about that a while ago.
Well, yeah, but he wasn't allowed to talk till now.
I love Fuyuhiko so much.
Fuyuhiko is the ultimate straight man, as you have said.
That's annoying. I guess I should just awkwardly laugh about it then.
And when I do that, the smile I put on my face,
oh god,
it makes me sick.
You know, there's something kind of poignant that Nagito's right here between Ibuki and Mikan.
Yeah.
Are you freaking kidding me? There's no limit to how useless you can be.
Why am I even in this game?
No, wait a minute. If Ibuki had blood on her feet, there'd be footprints all over the place if she kept walking around?
That's strange. That's very strange.
We're finally getting to the point that we've been getting to for the sentence.
What's strange?
Do you want to know, Mikan? I'm sure you're really curious what I found that was strange about this, so you could think up a rebuttal. I see. It's not something we finished talking about. Those footprints. There's still an important clue left that we completely overlooked. Just as Nagito said, if she had blood on her feet, she would have left footprints.
Like on the stepladder.
Then why weren't there any footprints on the stepladder?
On the music venue curtain! Parkour up
I can prove
objects that you can't do that on!
If Ibuki used the stepladder to hang herself, it's strange that there weren't any footprints on it.
Huh? There weren't?
Akane, please, if you're not going to pay attention to the crime scenes, then just don't.
Yeah, that stepladder was completely clean. No footprints or bloodstains at all.
Well, Hajime.
You noticed such a small detail. How amazing. This is truly the talent of a chosen ultimate.
Your approval fills me with shame. What are you talking about? You were obviously leading us to this. That's why you brought up the suicide topic after all this time.
Yeah.
Nagito Komaeda, you're definitely someone I shouldn't underestimate.
But didn't you say you saw that video of Ibuki climbing
They're working together on this.
I know.
If we're wrong,
if we're wrong, this is like the biggest gotcha that this game has
really
pulled.
gonna be surprised.
Then I think there's no doubt that she really did climb it. Unless there was something funny about that video.
Oh yeah, it cut out before the actual hanging.
Let's talk about all the funny things in the video, shall we?
I see. So there was some kind of trick arranged in that video,
But that's something only Hajime would know, since he's the only one who saw that video.
By design. Hajime, or... No, it had to have been Hajime.
Yeah.
And thinking about it like that, it's even more suspicious because Mikan was able to do that because of her actual klutzy bumbling that led her the first time to be in Hajime's bed. And then it was like, oh, well, the lock is broken and I can actually get in there so I can set this up. That's what I'm assuming, but...
Think about that. This is ultimately because of Ibuki, then, that this was possible.
Because Ibuki's the one who broke the lock in a really weird way. It's not that it's Ibuki's...
No, of course.
It's not that it's Ibuki's fault, but it could happen in this way because of what Ibuki did. But if Mikan was already going to do this, she already had the guts to do something.
Yeah. I wasn't even trying to make a big deal of it. Just a sort of an interesting little facet.
It is.
So, just as I thought, it comes down to that. The end of the episode.
Danganronpa. Danganronpa.